Universal has officially confirmed that a brand new Fast and the Furious ride is coming to Orlando. Today, January 20th, 2026, Universal finally told us what's actually going to be replacing Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit, their controversial coaster that closed last year. From the start of construction on this new attraction, it's been pretty evident that what was going to replace Rip Ride Rockit was a new coaster. But there were a lot of ideas of what this new coaster could be themed to. People were throwing around IPs like Ghostbusters, Back to the Future, and of course, Fast and Furious. Well, it is now being confirmed that Orlando is getting its very own Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift set to open in 2027. You might be thinking, wait, haven't I heard about this coaster already? And the answer is yes. Universal Studios Hollywood is also getting a Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift set to open later this year on the West Coast. Are the coasters going to be identical? No. I mean, they physically can't be. One is built on the side of a hill, whereas one is going to be built in a skinny, narrow pathway on flat ground. But the concepts of the coaster are going to be the same. They're both going to be high-thrill coasters that contain drifting elements. And by that, I mean rotating coaster cars that can rotate up to 360 degrees. Now, am I excited about this new coaster? Absolutely. If you know me, I love thrill rides, especially a good coaster. The crazier, the better. So this coaster having unique drifting elements, and by unique, I mean unique to Universal, because Disney already created a ride very much like this in, 2022 when Cosmic Rewind opened? But this coaster, with the drifting elements, will fill my boots for thrills. I was someone who actually enjoyed Rip Ride Rockit. I know a lot of people didn't. I liked it, but I think that this one is going to blow it out of the water. However, do I think they could have picked a better name for it? Yeah, I do. I'm not a huge Fast and Furious fan. I actually haven't seen any of the movies since I think Tokyo Drift, which is the third one, if I'm remembering correctly. So I have no attachment to the Fast and Furious IP. It is a Universal property though, so it would be a lot easier to get IP rights to this one. Plus, it is actually Universal's biggest grossing or highest grossing franchise. So they couldn't not have a ride with Fast and the Furious in it. And I mean, it will translate better into a coaster than into whatever the hell Supercharged is. So that is a big plus. So I get why they used Fast and the Furious, but what really irks me is why they gave it such an uninspired, unoriginal name. Literally unoriginal, as it is the exact same name as the coaster that they're opening up in Hollywood this year. I know people were speculating on what the new name of this ride could be, things like Orlando Drift or New York Drift, because the entrance of the ride will probably be in the New York area of the park. But they decided to go with a name that makes no sense however you spin it. Usually, I don't care too much about continuity issues. I personally don't care about like Wizarding Paris with the British Ministry of Magic over in Epic, or things like at Disney in Galaxy's Edge, they're finally going to introduce the legacy characters, even though they based the land off of the sequel trilogy, even though the legacy characters are way more popular than the sequel trilogy characters, which is why they're introducing them, but that's a whole other story. But this coaster's name is just a miss to me. The weird addition of the word Hollywood just doesn't fit anywhere. I really wish they had given it a better name, or at least a unique name to its sister coaster in Hollywood, because Hollywood at least works over there. It is Hollywood. Hollywood Drift fits. I wouldn't have been a fan of Orlando Drift or New York Drift, but at least it would have fit overall. If I'm being honest though, I am happy that they didn't go with Ghostbusters or Back to the Future for this ride. I do hope we get a legacy ride for either or both of these IPs in the future, but I don't think a coaster ride fits either of these IPs perfectly. These IPs were made for some sort of dark ride, like the old past Back to the Future ride, which was pretty awesome. So I would like to see them get that in the future, but they could do so much better than a coaster ride for those IPs. I also wouldn't have minded if they gave this coaster an original name and idea. Although original name and ideas don't really fly too much in this day and age with everything being based off IPs. The one good thing, or should I say great thing, about this ride being themed to Fast and the Furious is that they're not going to have two Fast and the Furious rides, especially in the same park, so that means Supercharged is going to the junkyard. In Universal's announcement for Hollywood Drift, they snuck in that Supercharged will indeed be closing in 2027. Though there haven't been any ideas that Universal has given on what could replace Supercharged, there have been some rumors that have been going through the rumor mill. I've heard things like a night bus attraction, which means they would have to expand the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. I think the ride system could translate to a night bus ride well. I'm not a huge fan of them expanding Harry Potter that much in the park, so I would kind of like to see something else. But I have heard, though, that people have also said maybe a Back to the Future ride here. That could work as well. You could make some sort of ride in the same ride system with Back to the Future. These rumors, though, are based on if they keep the exact same ride system. Universal could totally just scrap the whole thing and redevelop a whole new ride there, which they could then do anything. We all know that whatever it is, it will guaranteed be better than Supercharged, though. So there you have it. We have some big changes coming to Universal Studios Florida next year, and I, overall, am very excited for these changes. Universal has an insane track record with its most recent coasters. Things like Hagrid's Velocicoaster, Hiccup's Wing Gliders, Stardust Racers. And I'm sure that this new coaster will fit right in with their Gold Star standard. I'm sure I'll get over the dumb name and IP very quickly, and who knows, maybe I'll like the ride so much that it'll get me to watch the rest of the movies in the Fast and the Furious franchise. Let me know, are you excited for this new coaster? Are you happy it's based on Fast and the Furious, or do you wish it could be based on something else? And what about the name in general? Do you like Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift, or do you wish they pick something more unique? Let me know in the comments. As always, thanks for taking the time to watch. Please give this video a like, and if you want more theme park news and updates, please subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.